Hello everybody and welcome back to our Celpip course. My name is Marco and in today's 8th class I will be talking about Celpip listening test. Now this video will have 4 parts. In the first part I will introduce you into Celpip listening test general format, how it looks like. Then after that we are going to watch the first video from the materials which are included in the folder where you found this video too. Then while we're watching this material video, we will be taking notes, which is crucial and the most important thing that you're going to do throughout this whole listening test. Taking notes is really important. I will be taking notes together with you, then I will show you my notes, and then I will, of course, show you the correct answers. After that, I will be giving you tips, tricks, and best strategies on how to conquer this listening test and how to do this in the best way possible. So let's talk about Celpip listening test. The Celpip listening test is computer delivered. This means that you will take the test with a computer. It is 50 minutes long and it consists of 6 different listening tasks. There are 38 questions. Some of the questions during this part of the test will be spoken, but in other parts the questions will be on screen. Either way, these come after the recordings. You may only hear the audio clips and some of the questions once. This will put your listening skills and short-term memory to the test. I usually tell my students before you come to the test, at least 15 minutes, if not 2 hours before the actual test, turn off your cell phone. You don't need to be disturbed and you don't need to disturb your brain with any notifications, with any message that is going to upset you before the test. So take this test as focused as possible. Focus is really important as much as taking notes. What are the tips, general tips? Before we watch the first video, P1, T1, let's talk about tips on the Celpip listening section. So practice listening every day in everyday life and taking notes. You can listen to a news bulletin or radio program and take notes in preparation. This can help speed up your note taking. By the way, when you're taking notes, many students ask me, how can I take notes? Well, it depends on you. Taking notes is important for you, but I don't know which symbols work for you. You can write in your native language, in English, whatever makes it easier for you, whatever works for you. Taking notes is important. Some people say, well, I don't like taking notes. I would say, yeah, but I understand maybe you're just not used to it. I don't buy this excuse that you're just not that kind of person that takes notes. You will take notes because it will be helpful to you. I guarantee 100%. So practice in general is invaluable in preparing an auditory examination, because this is one part of the test where you cannot go back and reread the content your question is about or find out more information. Therefore, practicing with any type of material and as often as possible is the best way to prepare for a listening test. Even if you routinely speak to people in English and think you have a very good grasp of the skills required for the Celpip listening, it is a good idea to practice the style of the test. Listen to short snippets of information. This is where the news bulletin is very useful, for example. Write down notes and ask yourself questions. Better yet, try to practice with a friend who can ask you questions afterward so you get the benefit of a third party. If you have difficulties with accents or are aware of any other weaknesses regarding listening comprehension, this is what you should focus on in your practice as well. There will be different numbers of questions depending on which section of the Celpip listening test you are in. So remember to expect the most questions for problem solving, 8, and discussion, 8 sections. Information and viewpoints have 6 questions each. Daily life conversation and the news item have 5 questions each, and you have 1 practice task at the start. Use the practice task to warm up and to reduce any anxiety you may be feeling before the full questions begin to appear on the screen and recording start. This is really important for you, as I said. Warm up, shoulders back, chin up, just like in the speaking test. Put yourself in a really comfortable position so you don't feel any anxiety, at least like in a physical way. Trick your nervous system into feeling good, because this way you will have better focus and you will have more self-confidence, which is practically 50% of your success here. Use the practice task to warm up, yes, and pay very close attention to the recordings. You can only listen to each audio file once, so make sure you read the instructions beforehand and make notes while you listen. When you work through the questions, focus on actual meaning and not on minute details. Remember that the test is assessing your ability to understand spoken content in English, so the questions are not likely to pick up on small aspects of the content you heard, right? So this is not made to confuse you. It's made for just to see if you really understand what they're talking about. Taking notes is essential for retaining details. Even if you're paying attention, you may find you miss some details unless you make notes as you go along. Some sections give you a limited amount of time to answer questions. So here, if you run out of time, the test automatically moves on. So take your time, use it all up, right? Some other sections don't have a time limit for each question, but the whole section, for the whole section, and be aware of these and time yourself so you're always conscious on how long you're taking, which means practice, 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 practice. If you feel that you're getting stuck on a question, move on and come back later if you still have time in the section. This will increase your chances of getting more questions right. Don't be afraid to guess. Your aim should be to answer every question. There is no penalty for incorrect responses on the multiple choice sections, so try to eliminate the options you are sure are wrong and pick an educated guess from what is left, right? If it's not black, it's white. Manage your time. You can always see the timer in the top right corner of the screen, so watch it and ensure you don't run out of time to answer all the questions. Always check your answers before you move on to the next section, or even from what the question to the next. Take care that you've selected an answer. It's better to have an answer than none at all, and once you've passed a question, you cannot go back to it. So always click on something, even if you're not 100% sure. So let's talk about these 6 parts of the test. First one is listening to a problem solving. This is the first task. Here you will hear 3 conversations between 2 people. Each conversation is about 90 seconds long, and you will also hear 2 to 3 questions after each conversation. There are a total of 8 questions for this task. Usually, here's the situation. Someone is lost, okay? This person needs directions to get to a certain place. So this conversation has lots of details about location, direction, and a place. You may want to review some prepositions and adverbs or of place for this part. As you may heard or seen, some of the questions ask about location, but other questions do not. You have 30 seconds to answer each question. Prepare your notes, prepare a pen and paper. Now we are going to listen to this together, and we are going to actually watch or listen to this together. Let's click on P1, T1. We'll be right back. This is material in your folder called P1, T1, okay? Click this, let's listen to this, and let's make notes. We'll be right back.